plan for the future here at Mason City Schools, we're excited to engage with our community. We use a community-sourced model as our leadership model here at Mason City Schools because we believe in the voices in our community make a better solution for tomorrow. So as we go forward, we are launching our community conversations again this year, and this will be a great opportunity for you to have your voice at the table to help us construct a better future. So as we go through this model, I want to just walk you through the concepts so that you understand where we are in the timeline and the process. First of all, this is like a compass. It's a compass because it gives us direction as a district. And the direction comes from our community. It comes from our leaders and our neighbors together, and our students giving us input on which direction to go. A north conversation means that we're inspired. We're at this moment of we need to do something. And that's where we have been this year with this big disruption that has come into education, this constant changing. It's an opportunity for us. We could look at it as just a problem, or we could look at it as an opportunity. And that's how Mason really embraces challenges as opportunities. As we look at an east conversation, that's where we're going now. And that's what you're a part of if you're a part of a community conversation. And that's the investigation process. We're investigating what are the best lessons we've learned from this year, and what are the biggest challenges we've learned from this year. We know it's not been perfect. So what can we learn from that to build a better model for the future? And that's where you come into play. Your voice matters in this. We need your feedback. We need your creativity so that we can develop that together. As we move forward, we'll move into a south conversation. That's an implementation. That's where we begin to talk about all the steps in the implementation and the logistics of how that plays out. We anticipate that starting to take place closer to the January, February timeline. And then we move into the investment stage, or the west conversation, where we begin to talk about the investments we'll make as a school district, whether it's allocating time, resources, staff, in a direction to build the model that we think is best for our future. I want to walk us through the objective, the principle, and the assumptions that we need to be thinking about as we plan together through this community-sourced model. First of all, the objective. One of the main objectives that we have is that we're coming together as a community, that we're leveraging the voices and creativity and the talent of our community and the lived experience that we all bring to the table so that we can build that better future together. The guiding principle, which is so important to everything that we do, is that we tie everything to, and I always take the opportunity to point to this, but to our culture guide, to our values. You know, living out our values is not easy and it's not perfect, but it's something that we will always strive to do. And so as we're building this next iteration of our model of learning here at Mason City Schools, we will have an inspired, innovative, inclusive model, because that anchors itself right with our big rocks. As you think about our 3 big rocks as a school district, that anchors us. It gives us clear purpose of where we're going. And so that will be a part of this process. The assumptions that we need to keep in mind is, first and foremost, is COVID-19 will still be present. As I've been on plenty of phone calls with the state, with doctors, with experts, we know that vaccines are starting to come out. Those vaccines for students could even come out as soon as this summer, but we're not sure of that. I even talked to someone today, and they're not exactly sure when that timeline is going to be. And even when it does happen, there's still going to be a long runway before it is fully implemented. So we need to be thinking creatively about what does the next year look like. We didn't know what it would look like this year, but we're smarter now because we have some experience with COVID-19. And so we will make sure that we keep that in mind as we move forward into the next school year. The other piece that we need to know is that the quality of education, this Mason quality that we always talk about, it's really making sure that we have voice and choice, that we have all kinds of priorities and options for our families. At Mason, we do believe in voice and choice. We believe that our families need to have a choice that meets your needs and meets the needs of your students and our students. So that's that Mason quality that will be built into this model. And then the model is only as strong as the voices that come to the table. If we have that authentic feedback from our students and from our community, we begin to build a more equitable experience for all students. And so that's where your voice is so powerful in this process. And then we want to make sure that our model is agile. We are in a changing world that is changing faster than it's ever changed before. And so we need to be aware of that and make sure that our model is agile enough to change and to be flexible. It's that whole idea of adapt and adjust that we talk about with the R factor constantly. Well, we have learned to adapt and adjust, and we cannot stop, we cannot slow down. We need to continue to build a model that can be flexible, that builds that in. So you can see that this is the overall model. We are in that East conversation at this point in time. And so as you're giving your input, as you're engaging with your neighbors and with school leaders, make sure that you're giving your input so that it helps us to build a better, innovative, inspired, and inclusive model for next year.